champ is what you get now. All the struggles left in this, and who the best now? Cause I'm the greatest, ain't no hating, I'm the best here. You want your shot, well I guess you wait till next year. I'm at the top, get respect while I get big. Who got a problem, huh? Tell them to step ahead. W, so what's the loss? I'm at the top, got my muscle on. They be the op till they rush them off. Never quit and handle problems, and I crush them all. Shoulders used to hold weight, now I dust them off. All these busters think they tough until I come along. I've been in this here for years and I'm running strong. Cause I'm the greatest, ain't no hating, I'm the best here. You want your shot, well I guess you wait till next year. I'm at the top, get respect while I get big. Who got a problem, huh? Tell them to step here. Cause I'm the greatest, no arguing, no debating. Here in my face and I'm obviously gonna break them. I ain't never run from challenges, I handle them and face them. They say success will either mangle them or make them. I'm the best to ever do it. Go against me, you stupid. They know it, I gotta prove it. I win and I'll never lose it. Only victory, the champ is what you get now. All the struggles left in this, and who the best now? Cause I'm the greatest, ain't no hating, I'm the best here. You want your shot, well I guess you wait till next year. I'm at the top, get respect while I get big. Who got a problem, huh? Tell them to step ahead. W, so what's the loss? I'm at the top, got my muscle on. They be the op till they rush them off. Never quit and handle problems, and I crush them all. Shoulders used to hold weight, now I dust them off. All these busters think they tough until I come along. I've been in this here for years and I'm running strong. Cause I'm the greatest, ain't no hating, I'm the best here. You want your shot, well I guess you wait till next year. I'm at the top, get respect while I get big. Who got a problem, huh? Tell them to step here.
Hello everyone and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host Cooper Gretsch, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours and results. I've got a very loaded show for you guys today. We've got the world famous segment Scoops Goes Bang on the umpiring, review round 10 and preview round 11. Got my Supercoach talk, my Scoops medal and of course the team of the week and the return of my rolling all Australian team after round 10. I'll be doing the Scoops medal for another probably 5 weeks. Then from around 15-ish onwards, I will leave it off the show and leave it a big extravaganza show of the Scoops medal at the end of the year in the bye round between round 23 and round 1 of the finals. And while I'm at it, we'll start with this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast your friends, send a happy birthday, marriage, whatever. You want me to celebrate something, want me to roast someone, send it down at cameo.com/Cooper G. Merch. There's t-shirts, there's stickers, there's stubby holders, there's hats, there's hoodies on there as well. And there may be a new t-shirt coming soon, so keep an eye out for that. Now, let's start off with that world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang! Umpiring descent. Umpiring descent. The rule is getting absolutely out of control. The AFL are ruining the game. If you've seen that Hawthorn-Brisbane game, and it's not necessarily so many free kicks, well, it might be a little bit to some extent, but the amount of free kicks in that game, and the frees that were and were not given, the 50 metres against, there was one on Lockie Neal, I think. There's so many, I can't even remember them all. There is so many, in that game in particular, the umpiring was one of the worst umpiring performances all year. I say that a lot. It just proves, and I said last week, there'll probably be more worse umpired games than the games last week. Well, it continues. The ruling of the umpire dissent is a joke. Brad Scott, you need to change it. Whoever's in charge, the AFL need to change it. But the umpiring is just as bad. There was a sign at the Richmond game saying how bad the umpires are. The umpires are ruining the AFL. Oh, they absolutely are. And the AFL are also ruining the AFL also. So to the AFL, to the Umpiring Association, to the match review officers as well, that is terrible as well. Lift your game. Pathetic. Hope you guys enjoyed that short edition of Scoops Goes Bang. Now, actually, I'm going to go through some news too while I'm at it. Josh Kennedy from the Sydney Swans will miss 8 to 10 weeks with a serious hamstring injury. So I wish Josh Kennedy all the best. Now, I'm going to mix the order up today. I'm going to mix it up. Going to go through... Yeah, we'll go through my... No, we're going to review round 10. We'll review round 10. It just makes sense. Let's review round 10. All the way back on Friday night at the Marvel Stadium. The Blues, 102 defeated the Swannies, 87. Carlton by 15 points. Carlton are in the top 4 officially now. 15-point win. Charlie Curnow kicking 6. Sam Walsh and George Hewitt were great for the Blues as well. Wordering also. Logan McDonald was good for the Swans. Heaney and Parker, the usual suspects for the Swannies, were really good. It was a great game. Charlie Curnow kicked 6. Kicked a lot of them early. Good close win between 2 top 6 sides in the competition. On Saturday in Ballarat, remember my fun fact, 4 of the 5 games were all played in Victoria. Marvel, Ballarat, GMHBA, MCG. 4 games in Victoria on the one day. Normally you get maybe 3 at max with Marvel, MCG, GMHBA, but you add Ballarat to the mix, that makes it 4 for the round. 4 for the day, actually, rather. This game, Bulldogs 106 defeated the Suns, 19 points, 87 to the Suns, 106 to the Bulldogs. Yeah, Toik Miller was a bit quiet for his standards. Joel Jeffrey, youngster, kicked 5, played well. Jackson McRae was probably close to B.O. Jeffrey, was not. Bailey Smith was probably good for the Bulldogs as well. The Suns were in it again the whole way through. They were never out of it. They had a chance late. They didn't get in front, unfortunately, for them. But the Bulldogs, an important win for them to stay in the mix for the top 8. The Gold Coast is still a chance. With that loss, it does make it a tad harder for them. We'll go through now Geelong and Pwale at GMHBA. Geelong by 35 points, 82 to 47. Power were disappointed, though. We're going for 5 in a row. Fortunately, it did not happen for the Power. The key forwards were relatively quiet. Charlie Dixon will come back. Fantasia will not, according to Chad Corns. For Geelong, Jeremy Cameron is probably their best player with Cam Guthrie. Guthrie had 38, a lot of clearances. And for the Power, was any major contributors outside of Dan Houston for the Power having over 30 disposals. Now, North Melbourne, 53, defeated by Melbourne, 100. Melbourne by 47 points. They were named NAM, a part of the Indigenous round. They were named NAM for the round. Hence, that was my gag, people. For the people that did not get the gag, it was that North Melbourne would not lose to Melbourne this week. And that's technically who they did not play. They played NAM. So, NAM's first win in the AFL competition. Finally. North Melbourne losing to the newest side. Pretty poor, North. No, in all seriousness, North Melbourne were pretty competitive in this game at points, especially early, mainly. Aidan Cole was their best player, along with Luke McDonald. For Melbourne, it was Oliver and Petrarca, as usual. Max Gawn is not in the best of form. Goals seem relatively beat it. Really beat Gawn this week. Gawn's having a few off games this year, not his best season at all. Personally, I don't think he'd be the All-Australian ruckman right now. You'll find that out soon. North Melbourne, yeah, Zurhar kicked 3, but that's all else that I've mentioned about the Roos, who got the Saints this week, which we'll get to later. Speaking of the Saints, the Saints by 21 points from the City of Churches. The Saints, 90, defeated the Crows, 69. St Kilda by 21 points. Got what they needed. They got the job done. The Saints, the Crows were in it like they did to the Brisbane Lions in the first half last week. The Saints and the Lions scored in the second half. Maxi King Winks, all hail the King. Kick 6 is third now on the common. Winks is coming down for you, Lynchy and Charlie Curnow. And Tom Hawkins, who's equal with right now. Or Cameron was one of the two. It was great. Brad Hill in Indigenous round. His game 200th. Having 30, kicking a goal. His high efficiency was awesome to see. Jack Sinclair in his All-Australian form. Brad Crouch is having a great year as well. Back-to-back great years in his second year now at the Saints. For the Crows, Jordan Dawson was probably their best player. Good efficiency, was keeping them in the contest. Tommy Duday did okay in the back half as well for them. But it was an undersized back line. But they still had Nick Murray, who's a tall defender. Duday, and you said Mitch Hinge. They said pre-game that during the week, Tommy Duday and Matty Nix did say they think they can combat the Saints forwards. Like they didn't, but they were happy with that selection. They could have picked someone else. They could have picked Jordan Butts, technically, but he was coming out of ISO on the day, so it wasn't ideal. Now, the Tigers and the Bombers in Dreamtime, 80 to Richmond, 48 to Essendon. Richmond by 32 points. Kane Lambert has been ruled out of this week's clash, as has Tom Lynch with respective injuries. Hamstring for Lynch. So we don't know how long, as of right now, as of this recording, we don't know how long Tom Lynch will be out for. Big blow for Richmond up forward. Jack Riol kicked 4. Prestia and Baker were their best 2, and Darcy Parish, despite 14 turnovers, was Essendon's best player. Now we'll move on to the Sunday games. GWS, first game is coached from Mark McVeigh, the interim coach, replacing departed Leon Cameron. Did a great job at the Giants. Just remind you all of that. Definitely premiership to be a good coach. It'd be ideal, but it doesn't mean you can't be a good coach not winning a premiership. Now GWS 138 defeated the Eagles 86, 52 points. The Eagles kicked a high score and they still lost with 52 points, which is a big concern. Tom Barras has played his worst game of all time. Only had 4 possessions and had no impact on the game for the Eagles whatsoever. It was wet in the contest late, but James Petling kicked 3 and had 24 odd possessions. Josh Kelly had 29 and great efficiency as always, and uses the ball very, very well. Perryman was great. Toby Green kicked a few goals early. It was quiet throughout the whole contest, but early he was on song. And the Giants had to do what they had to do for the Eagles. Isaiah Winder kicked 3 in just about 9 possessions. Small forward type. Medium-sized forward. Jack Darling, very quiet. There's not much to say about the Eagles. They're going to struggle like North Melbourne towards the bottom 2, and they'll both stay there. The Hawks, the game of the round in terms of the result and the margin and the way it came. The Hawks in Tassie, they teasing you and teasing you and teasing you are the Hawks. Great win, though. Hawthorn by 5 points, 117 to 112 in Tassie, in Bev's neck of the woods. Hello to you, Bev. I know Bev tunes in, so hello, Bev. The Hawks, well, what can you say? Jai Newcomb is be a contender for the Rising Star for sure. Josh Rochelle probably had it in the bag early, but stamped off. Nick Dacles has always been in the mix, but Jai Newcomb is one to watch for the Rising Star at the end of the season. He was great, as was Tom Mitchell, kicked a goal on 36. Jared Lyons had 32 and plenty of clearances, as he always does, Jared Lyons. Eric Hipwood was quiet. The Hawks, to their credit, though, they start games early and they seem to fall away. They did it against Essendon. They've done it a few times. It's been a struggle for them, but they've beaten Geelong, and now they've beaten the Lions. It's their 2 big victories, big scalps for the Hawks, and Sammy Mitchell will be up and about for sure. And the final game of round 10 was the Dockers losing again, this time to the Pies by 36 points in the wet again. Gold Coast last week, now the Pies this week at home. The Dockers, clearly the wet conditions is not suiting them. Justin Longmuir said during the week prior to this game that there was no excuse about the weather, and they have played in the wet multiple times before. So no excuses, Justin Longmuir, the Freo coach. 36-point loss. Andy Brayshaw, Will Brody was their best by a country mile, and Brayshaw was good, as he always is, and he'll be in the All-Australian squad for sure. Pies, Ollie Henry was the sub, came on late in the first, early second for Mason Cox, who got a finger injury. Kicked 4 and had about 14, 15 possessions, so super sub was Oliver Henry, who deserved to be dropped prior to this game because he had kicked poorly in the game prior against the Bulldogs. So, fair enough that he got dropped. Was put as the sub and made amends with Cox going off injured. Jack Crisp with his crisp disposal. The next game we'll go through. In fact, there is no more games to go through, but I wanted to point out during the Brisbane game, Daniel Rich was a rich boy with his rich disposal. No, that didn't work, did it? It's worked in the past. Anyway, Daniel Rich kicked a goal and had 32 possessions. Now, we're going to go through my team of the week for round 10. From the back line, we have the ever-reliable from the Saints, Cal Wilkie, who was great on Tex Walker. In the other pocket, James Sicily, with his great disposal as he always has, 26 odd possessions. Sam Taylor did a number on the West Coast Eagles defenders at fullback. Half back line, Jack Sinclair from the Saints and Ed Richards from the Bulldogs. Centre half back, Paddy McCartan. Wingers, Bradley Hill and Josh Kelly. Centerman, Clayton Oliver. Half-forward line, James Petling and Joel Jeffrey. Centre forward, Charlie Curnow. Forward pockets, Oliver Henry and Luke Bruce. And full forward, Maxie Wings King. Ruckman, Jared Witts. Rovers, Will Brodie and Steve Canelio. Interchange, Matty Flynn, Harry Perryman, Tom Mitchell and Jai Newcomb. Emergencies, Dion Prestia, Liam Baker, Jeremy Cameron and Darcy Parish. As I said earlier, Wilkie did a bath, had done a number on Tex Walker. Sammy Taylor destroyed the Eagles' forward line. Sicily, so many disposals, great efficiency and great kick. Great thinker. Is their filling captain at the moment. Jack Sinclair, awesome, 30-odd possessions off the half-back line. Elite disposal, as he always does. Will be in the All-Australian squad for sure. Ed Richards took 3 contested marks. It was important in the Bulldogs' win over the Suns at half-back. Had 20-odd disposals with a good efficiency as well. Paddy McCartan, despite Swans losing, was good for them. Brad Hill, what to say, I said it earlier, 30-odd possessions, a goal, high efficiency, and some game-changing moments, so he deserved his spot for sure. Josh Kelly, 29-odd possessions, high efficiency, good amount of clearances, great ball user, deserved it. Clayton Oliver, while he had 43-odd possessions, high efficiency, 20-odd contested possessions, he deserved his spot. James Petling, 3 goals, 24 disposals, pretty obvious there. Charlie Kerner kicked 6, that's pretty obvious. Joel Jeffrey kicked 5, that's also obvious. Oliver Henry is the sub, as I said earlier, 4 goals, and 15-odd possessions, 14-odd possessions. He deserved his spot. As did Luke Bruce. Impactful in the last quarter. People say, oh, he had low efficiency, low possession count. Yes, but if you watch the last quarter in particular, he was very, very influential and deserved his spot. I know he didn't have the most possessions all the way around, but small forward job is to impact the game, and Lukey Bruce did do so. Max King kicked 6. He's a beast. 7 possessions, 6 kicks, 6 goals, 6 marks. Maxie King, he's a chance for the Coleman. Watch out, T. Lynch and C. Kerno. Jared Witts had 11 disposals with 55 hit-outs and a lot of hit-outs to advantage. He's the far superior ruckman in the comp this year. Will Brodie kicked 1, had 36 in high efficiency and 20-odd clearances, deserved his spot in the wet. As is Steve Canelio, 36 and a goal. Flynn, the second best ruck. Harry Perriman done well, 30-odd and a goal. T. Mitchell, goal, 36. Jai Newcomb, a goal and 30-odd. Mercy's Prestia, Baker, Cameron, and Parrish. Leave your thoughts down below of my team of the week. Now, we're going to preview round 11. Yes, that's what we'll do. We'll preview round 11. Now, starts all the way on Friday night at the SCG. We'll have the Swans hosting Richmond at 7:50 Friday night. Interesting clash. Swans have been pretty disappointing as of late, but I am saying that. I am going to go for the Swans purely because they're at home. They won't have Josh Kennedy, but he hasn't played as regularly as he always normally does this year, and he'll be out for 8 to 10 weeks, as I said earlier, for hamstring. To wish Josh Kennedy all the best. The most contestant possessions of all time. Well done, JPK. Because there's another Kennedy. Swans, Josh Kennedy. Former Hawk. Saturday at the Gabba, 1:45. Lions hosting the Giants. I'm going to go for the Lions. Also on 1:45 at GMHBA, Stadium in Geelong. Geelong hosting the Crows. Geelong should win there. 4:35 on Saturday at the MCG. Melbourne hosting the Dockers. This should be a great clash. Dockers, though, have lost their last 2. Melbourne had the bye last round because Nam played for them. Is there an investigation going to be made that they gained 4 points and they didn't play? Joking. Melbourne Dockers. I'm going to go for Melbourne purely because of the way the Dockers have gone in the last 2 weeks. Eagles hosting the Bulldogs at Optus Stadium, 7:30 Victorian time, Saturday night. The Bulldogs will win easily. On Saturday night also at 7:40 in Darwin at TIO Stadium. The Suns hosting the Hawks. Great clash. The winner will keep their small chances alive of making the 8. The loser will make it very hard to catch up. I'm going to go for the Suns. Even though the Hawks just beat the Lions, the Suns have been pretty good in their losses and wins this year, bar maybe one exception against the Giants for the Suns. On Sunday, here we go, 1:10 at Marvel Stadium. My Saints hosting the Roos. What do you want me to say? The Saints are going to win. It's a matter of how much they're going to win by. People will say, oh, you want to hope they don't lose? I hope they not. I'll be very disappointed if they do. And they should not lose the way they performed this year against everyone. So the Saints should win pretty comfortably and boost up that percentage that is needed to catch up to Freo and stay level or more with Carlton. So I'm obviously going with the Saints to big back. Jack Higgins should be back. Jack Steele will still miss 5 weeks with a shoulder injury. Also on Sunday at the MCG, this one. The other one was at Marvel. This one's at the G. 3:20, Collingwood hosting Carlton. This will be interesting. Two arch rivals that do not like each other. Ooh, I'm going to go for the Blues, but don't write off the Pies. They just beat the Dockers in Perth. The final game on Sunday at the Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide hosting the Bombers, 4:40 Victorian time at Adelaide Oval. I'm going to go for the Power. Port Adelaide assistant coach Jade Corns has said it's going to be wet conditions, so they may not play all 4 tall forwards with Charlie Dixon coming back at the side. So Finlayson and Georgiades, Todd Marshall, one will miss going off what Jade Corns said, and I think it may be Mitch Georgiades who'll be rested. Now, leave your thoughts on the tips for round 11. Now, let's go through. Let's bump it up. We're going to go through my Scoops medal votes for round 10. I'm going to reenact it like the great Gillan McLaughlin, who's departing at season's end. Round 10, Carlton v Sydney. Sydney, Iheeney, 1 vote. Carlton, C. Curnow, 2 votes. Carlton, G. Hewitt, 3 votes. Western Bulldogs v Gold Coast. Western Bulldogs, B. Smith, 1 vote. Gold Coast, J. Jeffrey, 2 votes. Western Bulldogs, J. McRae, 3 votes. Geelong v Port Adelaide. Geelong, J. Cameron, 1 vote. Port Adelaide, D. Houston, 2 votes. Geelong, C. Guthrie, 3 votes. North Melbourne v Melbourne. North Melbourne, A. Core, 1 vote. Melbourne, C. Petrarca, 2 votes. Melbourne, C. Oliver, 3 votes. Adelaide v St Kilda. St Kilda, B. Crouch, 1 vote. St Kilda, B. Hill, 2 votes. St Kilda, M. King, 3 votes. Richmond v Essendon, D. Parrish, 1 vote. Richmond, L. Baker, 2 votes. Richmond, D. Prestia, 3 votes. GWS v West Coast. GWS, H. Perryman, 1 vote. GWS, J. Peatling, 2 votes. GWS, S. Canelio, 3 votes. Hawthorn v Brisbane. Hawthorn, J. Newcomb, 1 vote. Brisbane, J. Lions, 2 votes. Hawthorn, T. Mitchell, 3 votes. Fremantle v Collingwood. Collingwood, O. Henry, 1 vote. Collingwood, J. Crisp, 2 votes. Fremantle, W. Brody, 3 votes. Now, the leaderboard of the Scoops medal after round 10 is as follows. Eagle third, 3 on 12 votes. That is Clayton Oliver, Lockie Neal, and Christian Petrarca. In second place still is Travis Boak on 13 votes. And now Paddy Cripps as an equal leader on 15 votes. Also with him, accompanying him, is the Western Bulldogs star midfielder Jackson McRae, the former winner of the Scoops medal, home and away edition and finals edition. Can Jackson McRae go back to back to back? We'll have to wait and see there. But Jackson McRae is now equal leader with Paddy Cripps, Boak in second on 13 and equal third on 12. Oliver, Neal and Petrarca. And there's a few players on 11 and 10. This leaderboard is starting to heat up. Leave your thoughts down below. My Scoops medal votes for round 10. We'll now move on to my Supercoach talk. We will now go through my Supercoach talk. This round I scored 2,331. I'm still in the top 5%, stagnating around that top 5% position. I've gone guns blazing all out, 3 trades. Now, I did say throughout the year, and on the Supercoach Edge podcast that I was on with Damo and Liam, I did say to conserve your boost trades. Wow, I've now gone against that. I want the ranking. I have gone all out using my last boost trade. I had to think about it. I thought, well, you're technically going to have 3 boost round trades through the buy round. So technically you can get 4 if you keep your boost, but you'll get 3 automatically. So it's like having your boost. So that is why I am using my boost trade right now. Using the last one. I've had 3 rookies on the ground when I have everyone playing. And Bruce and Brian and whatever. So I've gone guns blazing. Nick Martin is Gonski. Nick Dacos is Gonski. Paddy McCartan is Gonski. And I brought in Luke Cleary for the bench. I brought in Tom Stewart in the back line, all premium defence. And I brought in for Nick Martin in the forward line, Adam Treloar. I've now got an all-premium forward line and ruck. I only have one rookie on my entire ground. That's in the midfield, and that is Greg Clark. And Jack Carroll is back up if need be. So I'm going all guns blazing, guys, in my Supercoach team. I've just said my score. And the three people I brought in are, as I just said, Stewart and Treloar. And Stewart, Treloar, and no. Oh, Luke Cleary for the bench. Upgrade McCartan. No, he doesn't done nothing wrong, McCartan. As is Nick Dacos. They've both done nothing wrong, but it's time to upgrade. And I mean business, Supercoach. I'll read my new team from the back line, the back six. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, this is obviously be ideal if you can hear it. Or listen to it, because you can't see it on my screen. Sicily, Stewart, Hewitt. I'll read it slowly. James Sicily, Tom Stewart, George Stewart, Jack Crisp, Jaden Shorten, Jack Sinclair, Luke Cleary back up on the bench. Midfield, Oliver, Neil, McRae, Miller, Andy Brayshaw, Trav Bogue, Tom Green, and Greg Clark. Jack Kell is back up. Rucks, Riley O'Brien and Bruce. I know there's a bit of an issue at that at the moment. Sam Hayes is back up. O'Brien hopefully back in. Bruce definitely back from illness. Ideally, I don't have to use Sam Hayes. Ideally, I want to get rid of Riley O'Brien, but that may be during or after the bye rounds. So O'Brien and Bruce, Sam Hayes is back up in the ruck. Forwards, Will Brodie, Adam Treloar, the new inclusion, Isaac Keeney, Pat Lipinski, Jay Gresham, and Steve Canelo back to form. Shouldn't have traded him. And Cooper Hamilton is back up. Don't know why he was dropped. Anyway, now, my suggestive captain for the round will be Jackson McRae, because they're playing the Eagles, and I'm loopholing with Oliver at the moment. Could do Lockie Neal as well from my team. Maybe even Georgie Hewitt is a sneaky. Maybe. They're playing Collingwood, but that's late and a bit risky. But that is my suggestions for Supercoach. So leave your thoughts down below my Supercoach team. If you want any advice, you know what to do. You just got to send it through to me, and I'll happily answer your questions you got for Supercoach. I know a lot of you love Supercoach and AFL Fantasy. Just hit me up on Facebook or Instagram at AFL Info Live. And subscribe to the channel too, guys, if you haven't already. I appreciate all the people that subscribe and comment on the channel respectively. And hope you can leave a like on this video also. And that is my Supercoach team heading in to round 11. Again, as I said, send it through if you want some advice. Now, I should have mentioned this off the top of the show. Please leave your thoughts on my new intro. I have a massive intro planned. I did not forget the big intro I wanted for the very first edition back of Scoops, Kick It to Scoops this year, which was unfortunate to happen because of my camera crew were unavailable. Now, I still have that plan to do it. I have some other thoughts of how I can do it. And one day, whether it's now or the end of the year or whenever, this big intro that I have planned will happen. The only question is when. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And when I can complete this big intro, trust me when I say you are going to love it and you will acknowledge me if you haven't already. But yeah, that's in the works. Also, some big guests potentially coming on the show. Don't worry, I'm still trying to get guests on the show. And I'm still working hard to get people on. It's not really a matter of if, it's also when. And can't be clear-cut and give you a definitive answer when I don't know myself when it's going to happen. When it does happen, trust me, I will let you all know. Now it's time for the return of the best All-Australian selector. Yours truly, Cooper Gretsch, to select my rolling All-Australian team after round 10 in the AFL. My rolling Australian team after round 10. Leave your thoughts too down below. I'll leave my thoughts and reasons after I've selected the team. From the back line, the pockets. First, from the Saints, Cal Wilkie. And the other pocket, Tom Stewart from Geelong. From GWS, in the full back line, Sam Taylor. Half back line from the Saints, Jack Sinclair. And from the Hawks, James Sicily. Centre half back from the Demons, Stephen May. The wingers from the Giants, first, Josh Kelly. And from the Western Bulldogs, on the other wing, Jackson McRae. The centreman from the Brisbane Lions, the former Brownlow medalist, Lockie Neal. Half forward line, both from the Blues, Patrick Cripps and Charlie Curnow. Centre half forward from Richmond, Tom Lynch. Forward pockets, both from the Brisbane Lions, Charlie Cameron and Zach Bailey. And the full forward from the Saints, the man they call Winks, Max King. All hail the King. The ruckman, I've gone from the Gold Coast Suns, Jared Witts. The Rovers, first from Melbourne, Clayton Oliver. And from the Dockers, Andy Brayshaw. The interchange, first from the Dockers, Will Brodie. From the Crows, Ben Keys. From the Power, Travis Boak. And from the Blues, George Hewitt. Now, I'm intentionally not naming emergencies because I don't want to tell you who's in the mix, because then I would kind of be giving it away who's next in contention. Now, reasons. Tom Lynch is injured. We don't know how long as of this recording. Could be a week, could be 3 weeks, could be 2 months. We don't know yet. Probably more likely under a month. But he may disappear from the side, and Jeremy Cameron, Tom Hawkins may replace him there. Or maybe I'll just go with King and Curnow and have more hybrid plays like Cripps in the forward line. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see there. But that's my reasoning for Tom Lynch. Curnow, Cripps, Curnow, Lynch, and King, the best 3 key forwards. That's my predictions for them. Small forward Charlie Cameron's been really good the last 3 weeks, kicking 3, 4, 5s, and 6s. So deserves to be in the team. Zach Bailey, consistent as well and getting possession as well. Not many other positions in his position, so I've got him. Tom Papley hasn't played much this year. Jack Higgins started well, but has had 2 concussions and effectively missed 3 games because first game he got concussed was at the start. So actually, so was the second time. So he's really missed 4 weeks, really, a game. So Jack Higgins did start well, but he's now out. Or has been out for a while in my team, but which I haven't been posting. Sam Taylor's ever reliable back. The Giants haven't had the best of the year, but he's been elite. As is Wilkie, who's towelled his opponents every single week, including Tex this week. He can 1, DeGoey in round 1, and a few other lost souls being taken from Cal Wilkie. Jack Sinclair's the clear halfback contender, averaging around 30 possessions. His boys is awesome. He's game changer, Jack Sinclair. His playoff halfback and on the wing has been awesome. James Sicily, likewise, great user of the ball, big kick, big strong defender as well. He's hybrid, can play up forward if you need to. James Sicily has all the tools and is future captain of the club and just recently signed a 5-year deal as well under Sicily. The winger is Josh Kelly. The Giants, as I said, also like Sam Taylor. May not have had the best year of the club, but Josh Kelly's been a lead off the wing, a pure wingman. Lockie Neal, what's more to say? Rating Brownlow medalist, 30-odd possessions. Averaging over 30 possessions a game, kicking goals, Rifles owner. Jackson McRae, no, he's not the pure winger. People say, what about Ed Langdon? No, I've gone Jackson McRae. I had to push one of them mids out, and I put McRae there. The Bulldogs haven't been the best, but Jackson McRae has clearly been their best player. I mentioned the forwards. Ruckman, Jared Witts, no, it's not Gawn. No, it's not Grundy, who's been injured, Grundy. No, it's not Gawn. He's had some good games, but not the best. Witts has been the clear standout ruckman. For me, Ryder and Marshall have been okay. Oh, Ryder's been okay, but hasn't played many games. So Jared Witts is a clear option. For me, Clayton Oliver, probably a contender for the Brownlow. He's in my top 3 mix. So at the moment, so Clayton Oliver's obvious for Melbourne. He's a contestant beast. Andy Brayshaw, the quiet achiever for the Dockers, averaging around 30 possessions this year. Great player, great impact player, kicking goals as well. His ball use is pretty good. Lately, they played in wet conditions, so don't take that into account. His contested possession rate is going through the roof. Andy Brayshaw, like the Dockers, he's been pretty good prior to the last 2 weeks. He deserves a spot on the side. Will Brodie, the find of the trade period from the Suns to the Dockers. He's been in Supercoach teams. That's not why he's in the team. His efficiency's been okay, but his disposal average, his contested possessions are up. His score involvements are up. His clearances are through the roof. His meters gained is awesome. Deserves a spot. Ben Keys, his efficiency is really improved. Guy who was on Brisbane's list a few years ago was delisted. The Crows had him as the captain, filling captain the last few weeks, while Rory Sloane's out the rest of the year. Tommy Duda may capture that role too. But Ben Key's been awesome, averaging 30, kicking goals every week, most weeks. Deserves a spot there. Travis Boak, he's been awesome. Averaging around 30 possessions, kicking goals most games. Had a few quiet weeks, but every game around it, he's been close to BOG for the power. Hence why he's second in my Scoops medal. And finally on the bench, I've gone George Short. He's missed a few games with a corked hip calf or whatever. And George Stewart has been awesome, averaging 30 possessions, been one of the best recruits with Will Brodie. Former Swan is a Blue. He's been an impactful player, and his efficiency's been good. His contested possessions are up. His score involvements are up. His clearances are up. George Stewart has been a great find for the Swans, for the Blues from the Swans, and deserves a spot there. So leave your thoughts on my rolling All-Australian team down below. Now, my final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Merch, t-shirts, stickers, stubby holders, not mugs, you fool. T-shirts, stickers, stubby holders, hats, hoodies are all on there. Please support if you can. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you want any bulk discounts, please send me a message on Facebook or Instagram at AFL Info Live, and we can sort something out for you. Any more t-shirt designs, anything at all you want, please send me some opinions. I've had some opinions on the Facebook page. Any questions you want answered on the show, please send them through before the show airs, and preferably before 2 p.m. on Monday afternoon, and I'll answer them for you if I can, and if they're good enough to be answered. Appreciate you all for tuning in. Appreciate you all every single week. I really do mean that. For the people that are loyal, that leave feedback, constructive feedback, I do appreciate it. Just because I don't follow it sometimes doesn't mean I don't acknowledge it. Well, one thing you can do, and that is simply what you shall all do, and that is acknowledge me. Go the Saints and kick it to Scoops.